Stanley Hopkinson. I'm the Director of People Performance and Suite Projects. We take all this particularly seriously around our health and well-being of all our people. At any one stage in our sites, we might have up to 1,000 people working. 1 in 8 men are likely to get prostate cancer in the UK. So that means, even in this room here now, looking around, a number of us may have it, have had it, might have it, whatever it might be. So I want to just share my personal journey, which is a very recent one too, just for you now, just to start having the conversation what it's all about. So what I'll do, I'll share how I knew, what I did about it, why I chose what I chose, and also what was it within me that helped me in that particular journey. Dr. Frank's work on resilience, for example, what allowed me to accept the journey and carry on and bounce back, which is a key part too. So how did I know? Well, tragically, this is a list of symptoms you may get with prostate cancer. It's exactly that. I didn't have anything to start with. And that's one of the dangers we had. I had a general feeling that sometimes there's an element of urinary urgency, I think is the clinical phrase we use for it all. But was that just my lifestyle? And I'd rub in and like a few beers. Maybe that was the problem. We hear about getting old and just being part of getting old, that these things happen too. But also, I felt low on energy. And if anyone knows me well, I'm quite an energetic sort of character, quite a positive sort of person. And it was a creeping malaise, if you like. There was no one moment when I thought I wasn't well. And so I thought, well, you know what? Don't deny it. Don't be the ostrich and put your head in the sand. Actually, one of the things us men are very bad at is accepting the fact that things might be wrong physically, mentally, and socially, and doing anything with it. So I reached out for help, and personally I have no problem in reaching out for help. And we all know, you've heard about the PSA test, the prostate specific antigen. So I did my PSA test, and this is the first sort of letter that came back and looked at it all. And what was it saying about the PSA? It had gone up dramatically in a year. I'm 63, so I was in the system beforehand, if you know what I mean. I had a few PSA tests over the years, but actually it was now creeping up, and creeping up much, much higher. So then you go through the system, and what is remarkable, and I know there are a number of people from the NHS in the audience, I just want to thank you, because you get a beasting from government, from papers, from the media, from everywhere you go, but you are extraordinary when things go wrong. And that was my experience too, it really was. So what do we do about that? What happens next? Well, again, this is where us boys stop, because it's the digital rectal examination, and we joke about it at schools and joke about it over a beer. It's no big deal, a minor bit of indignity possibly, but no more than that. But it basically revealed that there was something not quite right. Next step, you have an MRI telling me there are 2 lesions, one either side, and they're big enough that actually things need to happen. Then after that, it's welcome to the woman's world of legs in stirrups and a biopsy. Boys, we get it really easy on these sort of things. Really, really easy. Trust me on that one. But even the process I went through was fantastic. The nurses and the doctor involved would just put you at ease and allow you to do it. But what it did reveal, and I'll explain what this means, that actually, yeah, there was presence of cancer, and these are the numbers that came at me. Now, what was also fantastic in the process was how they sat me down and explained what it meant, and put my mind at rest about where I was, what the reality was, what the options were, and what it means by that. So what do I mean by this 521? Out of the 21 samples in the biopsy, 5 of them showed problems or concerns that actually prostate cancer was there. Well, fine, not so much. Most cells are growing slowly, but some are now starting to grow moderately. So this is where you start getting interested about it. Think, okay, growing slow, I don't mind. But many of you in the room here may well have slow-growing prostate cancer and will not cause you a single problem for the whole of your life. But when it starts increasing, you're going to need to get in there, of course. The next one is that it had broken through the outer layers of the prostate and now started to move into other parts of the body. So this is where you start thinking, actually, I really want to do something about this. Because once it's moving out of there, where it positions itself in your body, it can move not into just your other several urinary places, but into your lymph system, into your bones, into your spine. So it's really important to start to get a hold of it. There's no cancer in the lymph node yet, which is fantastic. So it's locally advanced, starting to break out. that's the bit which really concerned me when I thought about that. Because locally, okay, we can cope with that. Now I need to do something. So what were my options? What does it mean? What did I think about? My treatment choices. And again, the system was fantastic. And if any of you have got any concerns about what happens when you get into that system, they are beautifully compassionate, and they fully understand and empathize your position, your situation, and will spend the time with you. And also there's so much information out there too. I decided to go for what was called a nerve spare radical prostatectomy, left wide and right partial. Left wide, and that's where the cancer was, so get rid of everything. The right partial nerve spare, and again, chaps, this is one of our fears. This is a nerve that directs down to your old man and gives you a chance to have an erection. So I'm 63, I'm not going to have any more children. So the fact that I may or may want an erection again is entirely up to me. My wife wasn't too worried at this stage. I thought she was slightly disappointed. In fact, I think she was relieved. So that was the option. So why did I choose that? Because there are many other options I could have done. There's about radiotherapy, there's high intensity focused ultrasound, there's lots of things you could do. But for me, when I got to this situation and where I'm in my life, it was about the time and the recovery. I really wanted to get this done, dusted, sorted, move on with my life. I didn't want it to be a lingering part of who I am and define, therefore, who I am and how I move forward. So this is all in the July and August, and I chose the date I had, the 12th of October last year, for my prostatectomy, which was incredible in its own right, because you are literally in on a Saturday morning. I was then out on a Sunday lunchtime. So what happened with that? Well, here's a picture of me, and a few days afterwards, we've got a few scars, and I'll show you the scars. It's where people fell over the last time I showed this. But all I'm saying is, again, the robotic surgery was extraordinary. It's a big machine, a few holes, and it's 4 hours of surgery, so it's a big old deal, but actually it's not a big deal. It's not so invasive that it's damaging. These things is true. You end up being catheterized for 10 days, which I must confess I actually quite enjoyed. There's some benefits to it too. So when you go to the loo, you just put your foot on the bowl and open a tap and off you go. It's absolutely marvellous. And even in the middle of the night, my wife had to get her out of bed for a wee, I just lie there and say, well, I've already been, thanks, darling. It was a positive in that respect too. But again, even the removal of catheters just wasn't a problem, guys. Nothing is within this one. Minor inconvenience, minor indignities, no more than that. But what about the recovery then? So that was October when I had the operation. And this is the letter from the doctors 3 months later. So it's basically 21st of January saying, well, how are we doing? And well, he's quite happy. The surgeon was very happy indeed. The scars were lovely as far as he was concerned. And it all worked nicely. Back to normal activities, dry and pad-free. And I'll talk about the longer-term symptoms of that too, what that means. But actually it also meant, by the way, that even in February, bear in mind the operation was October, I was ski touring in Kazakhstan, in the middle of nowhere, just on the border between Russia, Mongolia and China, living in a yurt and climbing mountains and doing silly things. So there's life after, which is the key point I really want to make with you. So the recovery was there, but also when I look about that, what will it be? What is the long-term impact? What happens when you have a prostatectomy, or even with other methods of dealing with prostate cancer? Well, the reality is incontinence is an issue, it is a concern. If you think about it, you've shortened your urethra by about 1 inch, you've taken out a really big valve at the bottom of the bladder, and you've upset the system here. But you know what, most of that is also in our control too. So with your pelvic floor exercises, you're keeping fit, you're keeping active. Actually, I'm doing okay with incontinence, and I actually now can wear light-coloured trousers again. For the first few months, there was no beige chinos for me. Another aspect, which is a reality, is this one of impotence. And I think from the psychological aspect, I think this is the one that hurts us most, or worries us men most, about the fact that the word, it means such a lot socially, mentally, psychologically. But you know what? You'll be pleased to know that even that's totally resolvable. And a little tablet for it now that can help in that particular part too. So as far as the big downsides of what it is that can happen afterwards, well, actually, yeah, it's there, it's a reality, but there's a way out. There's a way moving forward, which is what it's all about too. So moving that is important because, hey, I'm alive and kicking, I'm around, hurrah, which is the big element to do. So the final bit then, just to finish off, is what helped me through that journey. And Dr. Frank, there was lots of information you shared there. And some of it I could really resonate with too, about my childhood experience. My mother put me down as being a lively child, which I think is a euphemism, sounds a pain in the backside. And she tells a story when I was about 6, I was being annoying, particularly annoying, or more annoying than normal. And she wanted she was baking a cake and felt like smacking me around the head with a wooden spoon, but that would ruin the cake mix. And so all she said was, Manly, if you carry on doing what you're doing, you have to accept the consequences of your actions and redeem the situation. Now I was 6, I had no idea what it meant. But what I understood, what we spoke about, was you can do anything you like as long as you accept the consequences. If you find yourself in trouble, you sort it out. Now, my career path has been very varied, including being a professional skipper and skipping a race around the world's toughest yacht race. I'm actually quite good in a crisis. I'm quite calm in a storm, which on a boat, as you can imagine, is a really useful thing. But for me, particularly with the prostate cancer, apart from that element of, when you look at the early childhood experiences, I was very fortunate to score quite high on those first 7 points. I had a very compassionate family background that helped you at my own youth, so I recognize that as a luxury too. But I really wanted this to get on with my life. That was the first and major part of it all. So to rationalize what it is that's actually happening, to sit down and listen to the advice, to actually ask for further help. There's a lovely expression that says, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. And even though the system was extraordinary, I found that actually, if I owned it, if I owned the process as well, that helped me, and it also helped everyone else in that journey too. So rather than just sitting back and just being a pawn on somebody else's chessboard, I thought I want to be more active in my own recovery, my own well-being, and my own life. I also had a very, very strong sense of gratitude. And I think it was the gratitude to recognize that the help is here. I struggle sometimes how much we moan about this country, and our media seems to hate it, as do many politicians at the moment. But it's an extraordinary place to be, where we have the luxury for people like this, organizations like this. We do have a health service which is remarkable. So the element of being an annoying squeaky wheel, I've been hugely grateful for all the help I got. I found the prostate journey was never an easy one. It's one that I feel happy with, that I'm in control and moving in the right direction. So thank you very much for your time.